So good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the online workshop, Formlt and Revit for Architecture. So this is a part of a competition called Design Advance, and Capricorn will be organizing this competition. And as a part of this competition, we already have a workshop, a few lecture series, and some upcoming events. So continuing now, let me introduce myself. I am Abhishek Mukherjee. I have done my bachelor's and master's in building services, and I'm a BIM specialist architect from Capricorn Technologies. So the program details, now I'll be taking you through the program details. The first, I'll be sharing workshop details with you, then welcome note. So I'll
Abhishek,
be,
you are on mute. Okay.
yes ma'am, yes. So first I'll be sharing the workshop details. Then a welcome note will be shared by Mr. Farhad Khan. Then we'll be dealing with conceptual modeling using Formit. So Mr. Munich Sharma will be presenting that. Then some design development using Revit by Mr. Mohammed Shoaib. Then we'll be covering some details of Design Advance, the architectural design competition, and then a few upcoming events, and finally question answer round and vote of thanks. So allow me to tell you something about this workshop. So this is a workshop for Formit and Revit, and which will be a 2-hour workshop. And in the highlights, we have the conceptual modeling and analysis in Autodesk Formit, then Formit and Revit integration, and then modeling and massing techniques in Revit. So this is a part of a further competition, which is Design Advance, as I said earlier as well. And we'll be doing this year's theme, which would be livable spaces for the nowhere people. So I'll be taking you through a poll where I would request you all to please share your background, as in what profession are you guys in? And I'll just ask you the question, and then we can take about 30 seconds to select the proper answer. It will be kind of an MCQ, and you can directly switch it on the screen. So in a minute's time, I'll be sharing you the question.
Um, yeah, I think Abhishek, we can come back to the polls. Let us start with the workshop, and then we can get back to it
Sure, sir.
so that more people can join.
Sure, sir.
So, guys, we'll continue with the poll after this one presentation because a lot of people have to yet to join. So, let us start with the company presentation, and then we'll get back to the polls.
So I hand over to Mr. Farhad Khan.
Yeah, thank you, Abhishek. So can you move to the next slide? Can you confirm my voice is clear?
Yes, sir, it's audible.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, can you move to the next slide, please? So, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Farhad. I'm an architect and urban designer. I work as a BIM evangelist and architect at Capricorn Technologies. Now, Capricorn, sorry, Abhishek, can you go back? So basically, Capricorn at Capricorn Technologies, we are all architects and engineers, and we help design consultants, all architects and engineering consultants to, unleash their creative ideas. We support them with technology, end-to-end solution. So basically, our strategy is to provide end-to-end technology solution to customers involved in design activities, and we provide a 360-degree solution through product sales, support, and services. So next slide, please. Okay. So we are here since 1987, and we have more than 20,000 plus customers across the country, and we have more than 300 plus committed employees. Next, please. So these are the industries which we serve. So mainly our major forte is AEC, building and infrastructure. We support for manufacturing, media and entertainment. A lot of government nodal agencies are our client. So we also focus on education. We have academic alliances with universities and colleges. So we train students so that they become industry ready. And me and Abhishek are both from consulting services north, and plus we are involved in training also. So we have various training programs as well for basically architects and engineers, and we focus on BIM. You know, so that was about the company. So Abhishek, can you go next?
Yes, sir. So I would like to invite now Nikita. She's from Ethos, and she will explain us about the Design Advance competition, which is an architecture design competition. Over to you, Nikita.
Thanks, Abhishek. Hello, everyone. A very, very good afternoon. As Abhishek said, I'm Nikita Verma from Ethos. I'm an architect and urbanist myself, and at the moment, I help curate design competitions and outside the classroom learning opportunities for students. As you all know, the COVID 19 pandemic has disrupted the world since almost an year now. It brought on the imposition of a sudden and stringent lockdown in March last year. In the initial months, the mass exodus of migrants took center stage. With their aggravated socio-economic situation and lack of decent living conditions, their stories of suffering became the face of all Indian cities. I am sure at some point all of us questioned ourselves as to how we can contribute to improve the living conditions of our migrant workers. With this background, the Design Advanced Livable Spaces for Nowhere People competition is a call for interventions to design livable spaces for our migrant workers that are adaptable, resilient, and innovative. This competition, as pointed out by Team Capricorn, is driven by them, Capricorn, and is supported by Ethos, and is open to all undergraduate and postgraduate students of architecture and design across the country, and also, of course, globally. We are looking for solutions which are human centric, with specific design solutions to promote dignity, security, and safety of all such nomadic residents. You can register and check the design brief in detail on the website www.designadvance.in, which is also mentioned on the slide right here. And we hope you will participate and help us spread the word about this meaningful call for ideas. We look forward to it.
So thank you, Nikita. So I'll be taking you through the agenda right now for this workshop. So just before that, I would like to introduce you to our Senior Vice President, Mr. Amit Jain, and I would like him to please say a few words regarding this
Yeah,
workshop and event, sir.
yeah. Thank you, Abhishek. Welcome, friends, on I would say novel idea conceived by our team. I hope, I wish all participants are either architects or from similar background. So we, as Faraz said, we as a team, as a Capricorn for last almost 30 years, driving technology across architecture, engineering, and construction. So our team has thought of or conceived this idea of creating a architecture competition around the hardship faced by nowhere people, we call it. So we request all of you, many of you are on this today's webinar or today's this show, many of you are architects, so maybe spread the word across the communities. And over next 2 months, during the entire journey of this competition, we will take our participants as well as professional architects through different aspects of technologies, how technology can help for better livable habitats for this section of our society. So, so today, request everyone to stay during the course of this webinar. I'm sure you all will see something really exciting stuff as an architect, or maybe the related interest areas. Some really good stuff, good technology tools which help you for quick and better designing. And even after the webinar, our team is always there to address any query, any anything related to technology for architecture and related areas. So all the best. Request once again, please spread the word about this novel architectural competition in your circle. Maybe if you know architects, architectural students, graduates, undergraduates, or postgraduates, and maybe we can have better participation for this novel cause. Wish you all the best. So Abhishek, I think you may proceed now, and let's start this proceedings. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. And like I said, we should be proceeding towards the first poll. That will be the participants' background. I'm going to launch this poll right now, and I request you all to please select the proper option. So we'll have about 30 seconds for this. So I see around 70% people have voted. So we'll just wait another like 10 seconds. Okay, that's great. So 86 of the 105%, as in 80% have voted. So 86 participants have already voted. And I see that yes, I'm just going to share the result. I see that there are about 35% of architects A lot of people are students. So I believe students of architecture and engineering and interior design as well. There are a few interior designers as well. So welcome. And we have about 20% engineers and we have about 5% other background. So that's great. So now let's continue with our session. So I'm going to tell you about the agenda of today's session. So you must have heard about a lot of other softwares like SketchUp and all. So have you guys heard about Formit? So let us introduce Formit to you. So we'll have a quick introduction of Formit, some basic modeling techniques in Formit, some analysis of Formit. So after that, we'll quickly jump on to Revit and how it is going to integrate seamlessly. So now I request Mr. Munish Sharma to please present the Formit session, and you can take over from here, sir.
Hello. Hi, Abhishek. Am I audible?
Yes, Munit, you are audible.
Yes, Manit, sir, you are audible.
Okay. Right. So, let me share my screen. Okay. So, very good afternoon to everyone. Hi, this is me, Munir Sharma, and I'm an architect as well as an artist. So, for the next hour, I'm being your host and discuss about so many things regarding the conceptual design, which we are going to be have encounter in our AEC industries. So today's agenda, as Abhishek have defined you about that, what we are going to do for the next 2 hours. And let's get started with this conceptual design using Autodesk format. So right now we are having a one product which name is Autodesk format. So let's start with the next one. Okay, so you might see in my slide over there, they are very beautiful images and project you can see, right? And that is a exceptional real-time renders you can have, right? And those renders, and when we are going to say that in which software we have encounter with it, so there are n number of software you might in your mind, right? It can be having a Revit, it can be having when you see a 3D perspectives as well as this kind of a rendering. So you might have probably see that it could be a 3ds Max rendering as well, right? Or most of the people going to be guess around that it has been a Revit, right? But my dears, it is not a Revit and it is not a 3ds Max as well. It is a Autodesk format tool, right? So basically, what is a format, right? So the format is an innovative 3D sketching tool for the conceptual design phase. We when we are going to talk about a BIM, right? So the BIM going to be started from the first day, right? So that is why it is a BIM from the day one, reducing the need for a wasteful remodeling of your conceptual design. Sometimes we are going to be make a models, right, in a different types of a software. But again, we have to encounter those changes and come back to a primary software, like you can do in an SketchUp or like some other Morpholio sketches, or maybe sketches on the piece of a paper, right? So you are going to have a lot of changes at any stages of a mind, right? So it can be start a BIM from the first day if you are going to be start through a format. So basically, when you are going to be informed decisions earlier in the design process with a site context, right? There are two or three things are going to become with it, like solar impact, energy analysis, right? So those things are very much important when you are doing a conceptual modeling, right? And you are going to be helped in the part of a design process as well. And you are going to connect your conceptual designs to a BIM workflow with native Revit integration and a cloud access, right? As you know that a BM having a primary source that is a Revit. So when you are going to be work on a BM process, so that is a connective part through it. So okay, so who is the format for? So when you come into the next slide, so you can see that there is a traditional way of doing a format. There is a traditional way of doing a conceptual sketches, right? Like for an years, there has been conceptual massing as a part of a Revit software, as you know that, and that could enable designer to do many things. They can be in a Trimble SketchUp modeling program, or directly you are going to be converted into a Revit platform. But if we are going to be talk about a traditional software, you might see that we are going to be design some sketches or some design coming into our mind, right? Abstractly, if I am going to move from one place to another, the design idea can strike, right? So at that time, what I have it, whatever, if I have on a pencil or pen, right? Or maybe I have on a piece of a paper, right? So I'll draw it over there, right? So that is a traditional way of doing. And normally the architects are going to be way to use their conceptual design on the piece of a paper, right? Or sometimes you are going to be have in some circumstances, if you are having a piece of a napkin, right? So you are going to just sketch it over there and just save it over there, right? And after that, the second traditional way of doing is you are going to make a physical models, like you can see on my screen. There is a second side, you are going to be cut into the pieces, right? The material, and you are going to build a physical form, right? But nowadays, you are going to be converted those conceptual design into a uh, digital platform. So those digital platform are going to become when you are going to be sticking on work of a iPad or like a Sketchpad, right? Or you can do those conceptual modeling in a SketchUp as well as in other softwares. But when you are working on Autodesk Format Pro, right, you are getting so many great features. So that's we are going to talk about it. So right now you are having my screen, in that it is been showing that you are going to be convert some of the ideas into your digital platform. So you can see that the architect have made a one conceptual design, right? And he just making a some of the things according to the uh, climatic portion, and he is doing a solar analysis over there, right? With doing the effective time period of months, he can able to see what the models relate to, right? And how those shadows and energy part is going to be affected on the climatic model, right? So that is what we can achieve from the product.
So Munit, that's great. So it's like making like when we used to sketch, so we can quickly see the result in Formit, right?
Yeah,
So
that's true.
that's great. So as an architect, we are so amused with so obsessed with sketching. So we don't have to leave sketching. We just need to sketch on iPad and we can quickly see the results. So that's great. So can you show them some practical app? Demonstrate some building using
Yeah,
Formit.
yeah, I'll going to do that. Okay. we are having an availability of the product on the iPad as well as for the Windows. So how it's a bit different, we are going to be have a couple of things we can think over here according to our gross area, and we get a rough calculation of our floor area ratios. Right, the moment we are going to produce our modeling inside our format, then we are having the same tools which we are encountered with the softwares like primary like AutoCAD or like AutoCAD 3ds and Revit. We are having a solid geometry, push pull, and all those tools are we having on the this product, right? You can see that we can have all the faces have been there in the model, right? And then you can see on the properties palette we can see the gross area as well as the floor area ratio the moment you are going to change your model, right? And we are having here a solar analysis, and this is what we achieve on the part of the model, right? So you can see that we are having a monthly peak as well as, and we are having a yearly basis, the analysis, and the darker area of over here, which is showing as an orange and a yellow color, it is going to be have one more repeat over there. So you can do whatever the modeling inside a format, right? You can achieve your solar analysis part, right? And you can achieve a great result at the beginning of your project, right? So whatever the safety measure like a passive method or an active prevention methods you are going to be achieved for your model for the sustainability of a design, so you can do it at that time, right? So you don't need so many changes there.
So Munit, so we can use this, like students can use this software at conceptual modeling, and they can put this energy analysis in their concept sheets also, right?
Yeah.
So it will really help the students, and I would say professionals also, to prove the orientation of the building to their clients or to their professors. So it's very good that we can do energy analysis at conceptual stage only. So we can work on more of passive design, passive sustainable design basically. So this is really good.
Yeah. So so when we talk about here on a rendering, right, most of the user are going to be left the software just because that it takes so much time to create a rendering, right? And it takes a lot of capability of your machine as well as your time availability. So but over here when you are working on this platform, you will get here a real time rendering. You don't need to wait for so many hours or so many days for making such kind of a renders. If you see this kind of a renders, it'll just impressive your client, and it just impressive your ideas as well, right? The way you want to achieve your model or like your project, you are achieving through that, right? So that is a very brilliant kind of a real-time rendering. You don't need to wait it, right? And you have seen that we are having here an interactive rendering over here, right? So there is an exterior renders of first two images, and the second one is like a bit of a interior, right, where you're showing a swimming pool and all the textures have been around. So let's make a DWG score. So over here when you are working on a platform, right, the CAD file is going to be integrated with this software, right? You can import your file and start working on it according to your whatever DWG you have inserted, right? Likewise, you can see on the screen that there is a DWG and you start work on that.
Yeah, so here I want to add, Munit, one thing.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
personally use Formit,
yeah,
and I've used SketchUp also. Now SketchUp and CAD does not AutoCAD does not have a very good interoperability. It does not. I kind of struggle to pick up lines, but because Formit is of Autodesk and AutoCAD is also from Autodesk, so we can easily it recognizes the AutoCAD file, AutoCAD drawing, and it's very easy to make surfaces if you compare it with SketchUp. So that I found very useful actually.
yeah, that's true. Even your you have may encounter with this kind of problems, and many times at the age of students, right, people used to just make so many things in the CAD file, and they'll bit heavier, and sometimes they'll be having a 1 MB or 2 MB, so it'll start crashing the software. So you are right, sometimes you'll have this kind of a problem as well, but when you're working with the platform of format, right, you'll not find this kind of things as usual, like you do in a SketchUp. Yeah. So
So I'm getting a lot of questions from audience that can you show us how easy is it to create a conceptual layout? So Munit is just going to show that only just after few slides. So Munit, everyone is waiting for your practical demonstration
yeah,
eagerly.
yeah. I'm just starting over there. So okay, so let's quickly do the some of the slides. So over here we are having a custom materials to translate. See, whatever the material you are going to be inserted inside a format, right? Whatever the customization of your materials, you can insert it in your format pro, and after that those model when it is going to be exported to your Revit, the same model is going to be over there, right? Same model textures, same preferences like in a PNG or the bitmaps are been coming into your Revit platform, so you don't need to worry about that where the texture have been gone. So some of the format examples have been there, right? So those format examples are like there's a very popular firm name as an Array Architect situated in the USA, right? So they are been user of format. So you can see the product they are been collected from the format, right? Achieving their design quality like this, right? And there's another form which name is unboxed, and so even they have been user of a format. So this kind of modeling they have achieved through this platform. So you can see that very realistic and very conceptual part of their design are been doing with the format pro. So there is another firm name as an ESG architects, right? So you can see that the conceptual the way they are uh, doing in a modeling, they are building with the remodeling part like trees, vegetations, shrubs, human beings, right? And so detailed model are being sketched out over there, right? So basically the idea what they are going to be achieved by doing a modeling, they are achieving through it, right? So that's the real-time render for the ESG architects. Okay, so I'll share the screen for starting the part.
So I would request all the participants to, if you have any questions, I can see a lot of questions in chat box. You should, I would request you to write your questions in Q&A box. So there is one Q&A box on your screen. So you please write all your questions in there, and after the presentation, we have a Q&A session. So I'll put up the question in front of the presenters, and they will answer to your questions. So I would request everyone to please write all the questions in Q&A box.
So should we start with the presentation, or we are going to be wait for the questions?
No, no, we'll have the questions in the end. So you start with the practical demo, just show them how the modeling is done.
Okay, so just give me 2 minutes. There's like questions. Okay, So
So,
right.
Munit,
Yeah.
so you can start sharing the screen. But before that, I think Abhishek has a poll.
Okay.
So, Abhishek, you want to start the poll?
Yes, sir.
So I can see a lot of questions coming up in Q&A box. So don't worry, guys. We are going to just answer that.
So yes, before we proceed forward, I would like to ask you, which software do you use for conceptual modeling? So you must be using a lot of other softwares before knowing what was Formit all about. So I'm going to launch the poll right now, and I would request you to vote. So I see the votes are coming up. So that's great. About 70% people have voted. Great. Another 5 seconds and then we can end the polling. And I'm going to share the result with you then. That's great. I'm going to share the result with you now. Okay, so we see a lot of people do use SketchUp as of now. And we see that before this webinar, as in before this online workshop, Formit was not being used by any of the participants. So I think you have had a great experience in looking at what Formit is and what Formit can do. And I think Munit sir will be demonstrating right now as to what Formit can do and in how much time it can do. And I see a lot of people are using Autodesk Revit as well, 30%. Some people are using 3ds Max and Autodesk AutoCAD as well, and some people are using other softwares. About 14% are using other softwares. So I think this result was very insightful. So I'll just stop sharing the result and handing over to you, Monit sir, again. So Monit sir, you may continue now.
Okay. Yeah. I'll just share my screen.
So I want to add one thing, Abhishek. As we saw in the poll, so this is for all
Yes,
my
sir.
participants. You know, the biggest advantage what I found using Formit is that if we are working on BIM and we want to take a model to Revit, the SketchUp model is a dead model. You know, you have to start from scratch in Revit. You design conceptual massing in SketchUp, but when you take it into Revit, you cannot use it. But Formit, the biggest advantage, which we are going to show right now also, we can take the complete model from Formit to Revit and start working on the same model. We don't have to start from scratch. So that workflow also, it's there in the presentation. So Munit and Shiva are going to show that. So that is the biggest advantage I found about Formit, you know, and it comes free with Revit actually. So Munit, can you share your screen?
Yeah. I'll share my screen. So here we are having tools, right? You can see this is a Formit 2021, right? So the first of all, we are going to put over here the location of the model, right? That the model of location has been situated in the Germany, right? So basically, if you are having a locations right out there and you are going to be model your site, right? So you are going to be import that site, or you can insert it as a location, right? So what location can do is giving you a site coordinate as well as the model you are having over here, like in a conceptual wise you are going to build that model, right? It shows your volume as part and it showing your the location coordinate as well, right? So over here there have been tools like the same tools we are having for the basic geometries. So I have over here a one rectangular, let's say 38 by 31.5. So that's my site, right? And when the site has been built, I can make it an extrude and I can put here a material as well. Once the materials, and you can see over there there's been an area has been there, right? So automatically get an area according to your site, right? And you are having a lot of tools like a rotate, like a move, like a array. So you are going to put that site into your 0 comma 0 at the origin. And after doing this, I have modeled a part of a one site shape. That is my one component, which I have made according to my sketch for my site purpose. And once I made this one as in a group, or I can do this one into a ungroup, so that I can measure the lines width as well as the line dimension. So you can see that that is my 10 meters. And if I wanted to integrate the surfaces, so I can break them through lines, as well as you can say that the one shape has been converted into a three parts, and I have been extruded this surface at the height of 4 meters. And more interesting thing about over here is like when you are going to be snap that particular node, right? So you can just pull it and push it over there at the height whatever you want to achieve. So once you are going to be achieve those height, let's say this would be a 6 meter at that, and I wanted to make it little bit down, let's say 1.5 meter. And this node I wanted to do it at 0.5 meter. After doing this, if I wanted to increase the side portion of my building block is near about 3 meters, or if I wanted to increase those in the same height of my snapping point, so I can do that according to it. So right now this block would be a 4 meters, and I wanted to make it this snagget point or the edge point, I can do it at my level of first block, or I can measure them, like this would be my 7 meters and this would be my 9 meters, or whatever the according to your shape or the design of a building, right? After you can see that these are surfaces. Once the surfaces have been built, so these have been flatted surface, right? When you move the edge or maybe a point purposely, right, it going to be give you the axis as well. Now you can see that the axes are giving over here an idea that where you are moving through an red axis or a green axis or y axis. This is the brilliant thing we have seen in the format, right, which we can't able to see in a other softwares, like, but this is the meeting point. They is going to be show as a part of a coincident point as well, right? So right now you can see the surface. The one height would be having a 4 meter. The another height of I want to make a little bit above. If I wanted to make it an above, so it can be showing over there as flattened surface. So once the point is going to be moved at 1.5 meter, right? So the surface is going to be look like this, right? So the third part of my block is been left. So let's make this one first clear the second block, and this block is going to be meet at this edge on the vertex point, right? So you can see that the vertex are going to be meet very easily, so there is no point of a clashes and automatically going to be joined. There is no doing of a thing like a joint geometry or unjoined geometry, so it automatically get joins when it related to a one surface. So after some time, if you see that some of the edges have been not uh, occurring according to your design, right? So you can select those edges and make that edge into a selection process. Like it can be worked as a part of a tab hit also. You can select all the connected edges, right? And once you are going to be select those edges, you are having here a complete cover up surface. So you can see that this is how quickly you can make a build model, right, with according to your edges, with according to your surfaces, right. Very quickly you have made this one as a reference, right. If you wanted to make that reference according to a first block or maybe a second block, right, so you can create those things very quickly, right. Right now I have just deleted the one surface so that make that a flattened surface. So flattened surface is nothing but it just provided you a complete without coincident edges, right. So this is the one edge I have made a little downer at 1 meter. So this edge would be having a 1 meter below from the second block, right. So you can keep on changing your edges, you can keep on changing your vertices, you can keep on changing your surfaces, right. Now I wanted to make here some elegant surface on my facade, right. So what I can do is over here is I just make a offset plane over here at a distance of 0.3 meter, right. And after doing this you are having here some unused lines, so I'll just connect it with those through my surface. Once this surface have been created, I have an option that I can create those into a group, right. Once I create here a group, I have an options like how much part of the surface I wanted to make an extrude. Once you created here an extrusion part, you'll get it over here. Those extrusion part are going to become out of the box, right. And those boxes are being created as an facade portion. And you know that when you're going to be create a conceptual design, the facade is more important, right. How it will going to be look like for the audience, right. So right now I'm just using the same thing over there, and just quickly make over here the closed loop and make it over here with a grouping part. And after that you can see that this portion is going to be made through a part of a little bit extruded from the previous one, so that it'll give you an option that how the material transition from one block to another block, how those surfaces are going to become according to your the material, right. So one surface has been ready now, so let's come into my second block, and you can see that this block has been looking like this. So I'll just do the same. Right now there is a one slight line you can see over there, right. It's just because that the surface is not aligned to the coincident part. Many times you have seen that this kind of a things or this kind of a problems you occur in the sketcher, right. Many times the surfaces are not going to be occur on the same platform. So but over here you'll get here a benefit that you just select that surface and you can make here a flattened surface very quickly, so that automatic the lines which are not being coincident, it coincident automatically, like you can see over there, right. So right now I'm just make this surface to be make a flattened surface, right. Okay, so this is my flattened surface successfully done. Now I'll make here an offset plane over there and provide here a zero 0.6 material meter. Just close the loop, and after doing this I want to be get it here extruded, let's say 1 meter, or let's say 0.6.
Monit is making a very famous villa from a very famous architect, and we'll have a knowledge check of your, participants. So just see carefully. He's making some very famous building. So let's see if you guys
Yeah,
can guess what villa is he making. So anyone knowing that, please put it in the Q&A box or the chat box. Which villa is Munit making, and who is the architect of this villa?
yeah, exactly, Farhad. Like you have given them a good hint at the right time, at the right spot of a time. But I hope that it'll going to be finished after some of the process, and maybe they'll get it. Okay, so right now over here we are having faces on the extension part, and once sometimes you have seen that the amount of width you want or amount of a thickness you want, it's not going to be achieved. It's just because of that the surfaces are little bit coincident, so you'll get here a very uh, what we'll say, we are going to be have over here a very constantly see that which edges you are going to pick it, right now you are going to be put over here this surfaces, and the surfaces have been extruded, and now this surface has been completed. So we have completed the first block and as well as the second block, right? Now comes to over here to connecting second block with the third block. So now right now I just wanted to create a one staggered floor in between over here, right? So just make the distance and just check that you are going to be create the exactly distance from, okay, so over here we are going to be just put it the one block little bit above or maybe a down at the time of when you think that this model is not recurring your height or not achievable your design process, so you keep on changing it, right? Because this is having a provision of making a group, this is having a provision of making a moving point and a align point and a rotate point, so you don't need to worry about that you need to save a separate model for doing this, right? So at the same model you are going to be constantly changing those things very quickly. So right now as you can see that, right, I have just break that part, and so this is the surface we have over here. So I just make this one as an extruded part, right, for the floor. So right now, okay, so very interesting part over here where many persons or many professionals, many students have been having a problem, right? That how to trigger some of the one block to another block, how to make a resistance from one block to another block, right? Right now you can see that sometime when the person is going to be model enough, right? They are keeping in mind that there are a lot of a group over there, a lot of a component over there, right? And you might see that after making so many component in a group, the file size has been increasing, right, so drastically that it couldn't be open in the next software, right? If you're using a 3ds Max or any other software, lot of a meshes file, lot of a group file, lot of a component file makes your file very heavier, right? But over here you can see that there's only 3 blocks I have it, and those blocks I'm just making a transition between a one material to another material as well as the block part, right? So I'm not getting any kind of a problem while working on a group or maybe a vertices or maybe a edges, right? So right now I'm just putting over here the facade for my villa. That will be the jali part. You can say that that will be metal jali, right? So so over here I just connecting with my third block, right? And okay, the next thing I want to share with you is like when you are going to be work on the conceptual design, right? You are having a free form of a modeling, right? You are having a free form of your tools. When you are having a free form of your tools like surfaces, right? It'll getting very easier to make your surfaces. It will be a very easier to get achievable part whatever your design says, right? So right now you can see that I have just selected the edges and I can cover it very quickly, right? After doing this, right, I can change my shape as well, right? This is only the surface, right? This is only the surface I have put it over there, nothing else, right? So you can see that this surface is going to be put in on my metal jali. So one second, I'll just create this one again so that is going to be selected my cover part. So I'll just put it the cover surfaces. and now made this one as a flattened. So right now I wanted to break this one, right? So if I break this one, right, so that I can put the two materials over here, right? That is what I'm talking about, that if you wanted to make a transist between a one material to another for your block, so it is not easy in another software. But over here you can see in front of you that I can make a one material transist to my second block to a third, right? So that thing you are going to be seen in a couple of minutes, right? So I just put over here the one edge metal frame on my this surface, right? So you are having here a lot of tools, like you'll get here a sweep, you'll get here a revolve, you'll get here an extrusion. But to be make it a very simple, because we are having a less form of time, so that's what I have done is I have just make here a simplicity of my extrusion, right? So I'll provide this one extrusion over here. After moving this extrusion, you'll see that the surface we have been selected right over here, we are putting here a material, right? And the material is going to be put according to our any of customization material. It can be a wooden, it can be a metal, it can be a glass, right? So let's comes to our form of a metal frame. Okay, so this is again, I need to put here a cover surface. So once I have covered the surfaces, I can move this one, and those surfaces, when you are going to be select those surfaces, you can move out from your box wherever you are modeling enough, right? You can just copy that and make it extrude as well, right? Sometimes you'll get here extrusion getting not inside a meshes, right? So the meshes is never is going to be extruded right over here. But what you need to do is you need to convert that into the surfaces, right? So those who have been extensively user of a SketchUp, they know that what is the difference between a surfaces as well as the meshes, right? So meshes are having a lot of steps to be divided into polygons, right? But over here you can see you can't even define over here what is a surface and what is a meshes, right? So that is a very brilliant thing over here, that the surfaces and the meshes are not going to be shown in a model, right? Like the other software show. So over here, I just make the one surface and put it on my designated part. So right now you'll find here some edges over there. So I can cover up very quickly. So I'll just cover that and make it extrude. And I can make this one align so that it's going to be cover that my face with a CV. So that CV is really very good command over here. So it will fill the surfaces where you want to be fill that, right? So right now you'll see that the bottom part of my this model is going to be have a little bit extruded outwards. So I just wanted to make an extruded, right? So one second, I'll make this one as a deleted surface. So once the surface has been deleted, right, you can see that you can just put one rectangle over there, and you can make a extruded part. But right now I just dropped this idea and I don't want to do it. I'll just do it with my the surface, right? So right now I'll just make this surface a little bit on the back side. Once the surface has been on the back side, so the upper part of a metal frame is going to become outward, right? So one second, what's happening? Oh, there. Okay, okay, fine. So over there we'll get here a little bit edges. So those edges are going to be cover up to make delete this one. Okay. So right now I have made the surface. Okay, so let's move this one into a first phase of our the metal one. So I just make this one extruded over here. So you can see over here the offset plane, and after making this one as a 0.3 meter, I'll just make this one a metal frame again. So let it be here a little bit extruded right on this part. And if at a certain period of time, if I say that this edge is going to be projected at a once, so I can do that one through my vapors. Right, I just put here a rectangle face so that is going to be extruded on that.
So now, Munit, can we see the final product? And I can see a lot of people guessing. So someone has guessed falling water. So no, Arun, this is not falling waters. And someone has mentioned Mayur has mentioned AD Rivals by big architect JRK Ingalls. No, this is not that. So guys, keep on guessing. This is a very famous villa by a very famous architect. Okay, so Gagan has actually guessed it correct. So I am going to reveal that. So let's see if anyone else can guess it. So Priya has mentioned Mala Pardon. No, Priya. Till now, I've got only one correct answer from Gagan. Anyone says, come on, architects, students, professional, you need to, guess it. This is a very famous villa which is, can be repeated in any part of the world. It's a module basically. So Munit, can we just show them the final outcome? I mean, obviously now we trust you that it's very simple to work on format, and it seems much more stable also.
Yeah, I'll do one thing. I'll just
Show them the
come
final model. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
show in the final model. Okay, one
Yes,
second.
yes.
One second. For that, I'll just have to. So that is been over here a part of side part, right? So I'll just giving you over here an idea about it. I just made here a layers for that, right? So over here, this is the materials part we are going to be, right? We have input it over here.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is the final outcome.
Not really. It'll take 2 minutes to do for the final outcome. If you say I'll do it, or I'll just keep that and just show the
Just skip
final
that.
outcome.
Yeah, show them the final outcome. So
Okay,
anyone
okay,
else
okay.
guessing
Okay.
which villa is this?
Yeah. So I have prepared here a scenes for like scene one, and this is the scene two. You can create here a scenes, lot of scenes, and make a pre animations and show it in front of your professor, in front of your client, in front of your colleagues, right? You can have a very good real time presentation. I have never seen in my career like this kind of site render, right? very in a very few time, right? You are just preparing your conceptual design and you get here a site plan so brilliantly rendered, right? And I remember that when we are used to have a site plan renders, right, it takes a lot of times to do in a Photoshop to make that achieve those kind of renderings, right? But over here it will fulfill your 2 or 3 parts. Like you'll get here a 3D model, you'll get here a landscaping part, you'll get here a site plan render, you'll get here a conceptual part render, you'll get here a solar analysis part over there, right? And pre-built model.
So Muni, do not just put it on one scene,
Yeah,
front scene, scene one. Yeah,
yeah,
this
yeah,
is.
yeah.
So I can see Avantika guessing Gary residence. No, this is Avantika. Sorry, this is not by Frank Gehry. I think Frank Gehry is building a much more complex than this.
Yeah, that's true.
So I guess we have only one person guessing. So I'll just reveal the name. So this is basically Libeskind Villa by Daniel Libeskind, and the concept of this villa was that crystal coming out of a rock. So you see, Munit was able to uh, model this complex building. Now, great thing would be that we take this to Revit and start working on make start use Revit to make the working drawings, cut out sections, elevations. So Munit, you have something else to show on format, or we should move to now Revit?
uh, only the two things I have to show.
Hmm.
Okay, so right now over here you'll get here an ambient shadow as well as a monochromatic part, right? So you can have over there that when you are required to show the shadows or maybe like ambient shadows, so you can create those model into convertible ambient shadows. So you can
Okay, this
see,
is great.
yeah,
So, any fan of minimalism over here? So, architects, I feel they follow minimalist approach right now these days. So, yeah, that sketchy part was really good.
yeah.
Okay, so let's see now how Shoaib used this modeling format and uh, make out the working drawings, because I'm sure that if you work on SketchUp, we cannot do. I mean, we have to start from scratch in Revit as well as in AutoCAD also. So let us skip AutoCAD now. We should design in 3D, think in 3D, design in 3D, and make the working drawings also out of that only, rather than separately working on AutoCAD. Okay, so Abhishek, I think we should switch to now Revit.
So, Farad, Farad, before Abhishek proceed,
Yes, sir.
hello.
Yes, sir. You are audible,
So
sir.
before Abhishek proceed, I think you said like you think in 3D, design in 3D, and construct in 3D, correct? Kind of. So maybe after show you finish, take this sorry, take this format model to Revit, and maybe during during that course of time, or maybe later, highlight why life is going on. Like everybody is working on AutoCAD 2D, then buildings are being designed, constructed. So why? So I think you must highlight the idea behind all this. Okay.
Sure, sir. I'll do that, sir. So, Munit, you can stop sharing your screen. Abhishek, please take over from here.
Sure, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'll just stop sharing my screen. Okay, Abhishek, you can just share your screen. I'll just put my stop.
Yes, thank you, Manoj sir. That was a very informative presentation, and I think a lot of people might be considering shifting from SketchUp to Format because it has a connected and a better interoperability with Revit. So now, just before going on to Revit, I'll share my screen and I'll just ask for one more poll. That would be for which software are you using for design development? So last time we had this poll for conceptual design. We'll have the same poll for design development. So I'm going to start the poll now. And again, we can have a voting, quick round of voting for about 30 seconds. So I see a lot of people who are here are already working on Revit. A lot of people for AutoCAD as well. Some people are suggesting Rhinoceros 3D. Some people are saying, okay, ArchiCAD. And there are some others also, other softwares. So about 70% have already voted. Another 10 seconds then.
So AutoCAD is so old that it's even older than me. You know, even older than Abhishek, you, Abhishek, Shoaib, me.
Yes, sir, absolutely. Okay, so now I'm ending the poll. And yes, AutoCAD is being widely used, but since you already see the result, I see a lot of users are actually using Revit right now, 67%. A lesser number of users are using AutoCAD. Some are using Rhino as well. Some maybe only 3% ArchiCAD. And some are using other softwares also. So I think this is an insight that we are slowly and slowly shifting towards BIM. And this can be really informative for us to decide which software to use. So therefore, I'll just stop sharing this and we can proceed with the next speaker, who is Mr. Shoaib. So over to you, Shoaib, for taking from Formit to Revit and how it is integrated and all. So Shoaib.
Okay, thank you, Abhishek. Kindly confirm if my voice is clear. Okay, thank you.
Yes, it is audible, Shoaib.
Okay, so now I'll share my part of the presentation and kindly confirm when my screen is visible. Is it visible now? Okay, thank you. So as Munish sir has already shown us the workflow of Formit, and there he has created a well-known project that is Lebeskin Villa, and now I'll take that project for further development. Like you have, most of you are already using Revit for design development, so I'll develop that design further for issuing the drawings. Like I'll create quickly. I'll try to create a conceptual drawing sheet here inside Revit. But before that, for those who are actually new to Revit, I'll give a basic overview about the Revit here. So,
So I have
what does
a
yes,
quick
sir.
question for you, Shoaib.
Yes, sir.
So in the poll, I saw that a lot of people are using, maximum people are using Revit and then AutoCAD.
Yes, sir.
I heard some of my friends that you cannot make complex building in Revit. Can you prove them wrong today?
Yes, sir. It's all about practice and patience also. So you can do anything in Revit. Any kind of project can be done here.
So you
You
are
may,
taking up the challenge. That means.
yeah, definitely I can take that. And
So can you make a building as complex as Lotus Temple on Revit?
why not, sir? That can be done. And
Challenge accepted.
yeah, it's accepted. I can demonstrate in the session itself that
Okay.
a building as complex as Lotus Temple can also be created inside Revit. So I can develop a conceptual mass for that here.
So guys, stay tuned till the end of this webinar because Shoaib has taken up the challenge of modeling Lotus Temple in Revit. So let's see if he wins or loses. Okay,
Okay,
Shoaib,
sure.
then you can start with Revit.
Okay, so before that, I'll just give a brief overview for those who are actually new to Revit. So what Revit does, it actually, okay, sorry, I'll just move to other screen. Yeah, so what it does, it gives us a coordinated, consistent and computable model for the clarity, continuity and the agility of the project. So how can it do that? Because it creates a coordinated model. And in this case, coordinated model means it has a single coordinated database. So this database can be controlled from the single file, and multiple views can be generated from that, multiple drawings can be generated from that. Since it's a single coordinated database, any change we make to the database, all the related outputs can be controlled from the single source. For example, in this screen, this is the interface of the Revit, where you can see that these are different views generated from Revit. Like one of the elevation, it is also related to the same building. This 3D view is also from the same project. It is also having a plan view placed on the right corner, and all those views are now composed on a sheet here. So in a single file, you can create from the conceptual design to the delivery of the sheet. You can manage your entire project here. And since it's a single coordinated model, any changes which is made inside the model will be updated in all the respective views. So unlike AutoCAD, like half of our users were from AutoCAD actually. So unlike AutoCAD, in AutoCAD, we actually our approach is actually task based. So for example, I got the task of creating a conceptual drawing. I may only create layouts first, and later when layouts are finalized, I may develop elevations and then may cut sections separately. And suppose there are changes in the plan views, we need to actually manually change sections and elevations later on. So there was no link between that. We need to actually manually change every drawing by ourselves. But in Revit, since everything is connected to a single source, any change we make here will be updated in other views as well. So that is why change management is easy in this case. So revision, and as the name suggests, actually Revit stands for revise it. So the full form of this software is revise it, and it is actually developed keeping in the mind that revision should be automatic and the change management should be easy. Because creating producing a drawing at once is not that difficult. When we need to actually make revisions, and then number of errors starts to generate. So in Revit, revisions in design are kind of automatic. So that is why whenever we change in any of the views or in the model itself, all the respective views will change automatically, and it minimizes the chances of error. So what it does, it gives us a better coordination then. Similarly, like you have already seen that it's a 3D software. It's not a 2D software. So what we do, we actually create a 3D model here. We create a virtual asset here. We create a virtual project here. So our teachers used to teach us that architect actually create design at least thrice, one in his mind, then on the paper, and then on site. But for Revit or BIM model, we actually create a design first in our mind, then we create virtually the entire project in the BIM environment, maybe Revit or any other environment, and then we draw that, we construct that project on site. So basically, before constructing on site, we get a entire model as a virtual asset here. So anything changing virtually or digitally would be less costly than changing it on site. So basically, it also gives us a 3D view of a model. So the traditional approach is that we use CAD for generating sheets, and then we create a 3D model in SketchUp or any third-party software. And sometimes the changes which are made in drawings will not be translated to the 3D model. So the end product mostly differs from the 3D that is generated. But in Revit, since everything is connected, it actually automatically updates the 3D also, and since it creates design in 3D, 3D, we actually can communicate better on site. So people who are not that technically aligned, those who cannot read maybe drawings, maybe such clients you may face, or maybe people who are on site, you can make them understand your model or the details by presenting them orthogonal views or perspective views, or make a small walkthrough or camera views, and then it can be visualized better in 3D. Right? So that is the power of Revit. But not only in 3D, you can also produce drawings from it. So it automatically manages, like I said, all the views, and those views actually are documents for you. So plan view would be a floor plan document, elevation view would be an elevation document, and 3D view would be a 3D view. And you may also detail your sections in blow-ups from the same model. And additionally, it also tracks the components you have placed inside the model and can generate a schedule automatically. So it enhances the quality of documents, and it keeps them consistent. So whenever you make changes in the model itself, in the project itself, all the related views additionally as well as schedules will automatically update. So it reduces the chances of error. And what it gives the designer to focus more on design rather than in changes, and it minimizes the cost of changes and minimizes the coordination also. So you need not to manually coordinate for every drawing. You can coordinate with different documents for different documents in a single software. So you need not to switch between different softwares or between different users also. You may also control your project from the same source in this case. Right? So it kind of enhances the documentation quality, and you need not to worry about updating documents at every change. It will automatically update. Okay. Then this is the kind of rendering output it gives. It depends on the person also. You may also produce better or worse renders, but this is the product from the online render. So those who may not spare time for rendering on their PCs, they may push their views to the online service that Autodesk provides, and it supports that online rendering service, and your renders will be ready while you are still working on the model. So you need not to spare your systems for rendering in that sense. So this is the output quality on the left, and right side is the input quality along with the sunlight and the artificial light also. So it's a quite good, I think, right? And okay. So now you got the basic idea of the Revit here. So we actually create a single coordinated model. We create a kind of a single model here, and different outputs can be produced from it. Like you can create different documents out of it, maybe detailed drawings, or maybe you may create schedules also. You can also coordinate with different discipline people as well. So Revit also gives the environment where multiple discipline people can also work on a same model. So you create a central model there, and that central model can be linked with other models like a structural model or a MEP model, and those changes will automatically update to the central model. So other disciplines like structure, MEP, or architects can also, MEP means mechanical, electrical, and plumbing drawings. So mechanical engineers and electrical engineers will also work simultaneously with the progression of the design. So then they can.
So, sure, I'm
Yes.
sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah,
Like you
sure.
mentioned, documentation.
Mm-hmm.
So, I personally hated toilet detail and staircase detail, and I'm sure a lot of people would, agree with
Yeah.
me. They don't, like to work on staircase detail. They don't like to work on toilet detail. They only like to work on design. So, will it really Revit will help us in,
Yeah.
enhancing the design, or it's like as boring as AutoCAD?
No, it is not that much boring, because AutoCAD takes a lot of time, and it actually reduces the fun of designing that
Hmm.
element, because we actually design a component and we lose our interest when we need to produce the details. So
So I remember in training when I was doing training,
yeah.
so I always got staircase detail and toilet details only.
In Revit, you can cut section just by clicking the section command, and it gives you an entire section of the staircase.
So why don't we see that
Yeah.
magic happening?
Okay. I'll show you
Okay.
on.
Because I personally feel that in architecture we focus only on design, and when we start working, we end up making staircase details.
Yeah, yeah, mostly staircase or toilet details.
Whereas all during those 5 years, I was just wondering, I'll be a good designer when I pass
Yeah.
out.
So
So
everybody dreams of becoming Zahadi in their student years, but after going to the offices, they're stuck with the staircase details mostly. So I'll share my Revit screen then
yes,
in a while, maybe, because Revit is actually launching on this screen, and then I'll share that screen. I'll show you that magic which sir is actually talking about, that you can cut that Revit automatically cuts the section of staircase, and you may also cut the section for other components as well. So now I'll quickly move to the last slide. This is this last slide for the Revit overview part, that now you can now tell that from the conceptual stage, from the inception of the project to the operation stage of the building, this software can be used, and multiple people from multiple disciplines can also involve. Okay, so I'll share my AutoCAD screen, Revit screen. I'm sorry. So I'll just, yeah. And kindly confirm if Revit screen is visible to everyone. Okay, thank you.
yes.
So now I'll open a new project here. So in Revit, we directly open projects. We do not open drawings actually, right? And projects control the drawings in this case. So I'm opening a project file, right? Or model, we call it sometimes. Okay, I'll close this for now. And as you can notice, I have a drawing area here, and I can simply create a staircase. So I'll address sir's problem here. So I'll create a staircase here, right? In the plan, you need to actually decide the parameters of the staircase, and then once decided, you can simply draw it like a line work. So I'll just draw a staircase here.
So I am meant actually, Shoaib,
Yeah.
you were Libeskind Villa. We were
Okay,
waiting
okay, I'll
for.
transfer that as well. Okay, now since I've already started, I'll just show the section here. Only the section. Okay, so this is as simple as that. I decided the levels here, and levels are already created in this project, that is 10 feet height, and a component is placed instead of creating line work here. I'll finish it, and then I'll cut a section here. So I'll cut a section in this case, and it gives you an entire section, and now rest is the detailing of it. So this is as simple as that. Otherwise it takes one day to at least only draft the drawing. And now I'll take the Munisar's example, that is that villa, and share that part to you. Okay, so I'll share my other screen, where I actually already opened a file. Okay. Kindly confirm if my Revit 2021 is visible. Okay. Okay. So this is here. I actually I'm going to transfer that format sketch to Revit here, right? So that format sketch is not wasted now, because that was created as a conceptual sketch, and that sketch can be now transferred to Revit. And I'll open a new project in this case, right? So this is the area where you start with the model, and you open a new project, and it is opening. Okay. Now I'll simply, it has an add-in here. So I'll simply go to the add-in. Add-in tab is somewhere, yeah, it is beside. Okay, I'll change the view settings first, and then yeah, I'll go to the add-in. So add-in is kind of plugin, and when you install Formit, it automatically installs the Formit converter plugin in Revit. It is docked here under the add-ins tab. I'll go for importing Formit, and I have already saved that file sent by Munisa, and then I'll open it, and it'll take a while to transfer it into Revit database. Let's wait for a while. Just a sec. And yeah, now it is transferred here. I'll show you the 3D of it. So this is the plan view of that same villa, which was created in Formlt, and now you may recognize it here as well. So this is the same villa, right? I'll change it to the colors. That is the shaded view of it. And now I'll start detailing it. So you may detail it by using wall components, and there are other components also like floor, and we have roof also. And so there are different components which can be used. And
So basically, sure, this cannot be done if you do it on SketchUp, right? If you make it on
yeah,
SketchUp, then we cannot
if we
convert
make
like
it in
this.
SketchUp, we cannot convert into a detailed design as effectively as Revit. So I'll go to the north view and I'll set up the height of the villa. So I've checked the floor to floor height from the Lebeskin documents, and it is actually around 2600. Oh, sorry. So I'll change it to 2600. And terrace is considered at around, yeah. So just put it 2800 now. Okay, so I've added levels, and you can now keep, so this is the elevation view, which is getting ready also. And now I'll set up the building components here. So I'll go to, and yeah, this is the visibility setting where you can switch off and on your way. Okay, I'm going to put up some walls. I have some preloaded walls here. Let's take this brick wall, I think, right? And I'll just put it on the face, right? And then I'll simply select the face here. So it's an interactive model. It has not lost its integrity, right? So it is now as simple as that. You can just put up these walls just by picking those faces. So that model is not it's an interactive model that, and now I just changed the wall also. I'm putting some concrete walls here. And if I want to check the Revit progress, I can switch off the Formlt model by clicking on visibility setting. So now, as you can notice, it is now converted into Revit components. And then similarly, I'll add up curtain system there. Yeah, I'll accept this for now. I'll set up, and it is as simple as that. You can create a entire, it looks a bit larger, I think. I'll change its size to, I think 500. I think that would be better. Yeah, so you can control all these parameters, and that is the beauty of using Revit, that you can control components by values, right? So, and that is at the end you need to actually show in your drawings. So now I'll put up some roofs quickly. So these faces I'll pick up as roof and convert them into roofs. Right? So this is as simple as that. You create a Formlt model and you can convert into a Revit one. Right? So I'll just switch off the Revit model now. And as you can notice that it is now converted into a Revit model. And this is the elevation which is developing by itself, right? So साथ इसमें it is actually creating elevations as well. And it is also developing plan views. I can cut a section like I've shown on the other screen as well for the staircase. And I'll just get to the view. And as you can notice, because I have not added any details, so this kind of section, a rough section is added here. And it is as simple as that. You just create a line for a section and it gives you a sectional plane over there. Right? Okay, so I think I'll skip some of the part and show you the end product of it, right? So this is the basic overview of it. So I worked upon it a bit, I think 15 to 20 minutes. And this is how I kind of get this. So this is the final product of it. And I developed some of the, I developed floor plans there. I developed a section and an elevation for an example, and I created a schedule as well. So, and composed a sheet. So as you can notice, yeah, we start to show you this as well. So this is the final product. This is another file. I've just completed that part here. And I'll get to the plan view. So I developed the ground floor plan. a basic layout. I've not added much here, and added a staircase as well, right? And it is also showing, and Revit is smart enough to track the progress here. So it automatically calculates the areas and volumes, like as you can notice in this case, right? And I'll get to the first floor also. Oh, it is not yet complete. Okay, I'll just close it. I was actually working on that. And now I'll get to the section of it, or maybe I'll show the section. I'll go to the section line and open the view directly from here. Yeah, as you can notice, a section is created. An additional detail, I'll just do it later. So I'll just remove it for now. Yeah, I was actually developing the entire section. And as you can notice, the basic section, you may develop it as time permits. And I'll go to the elevation. So this is the quality of elevation it can produce. So it was actually started from a rough sketch in format. And now it is converted into a Revit model. And I've created a schedule also, and it tracks the components. So I'll just open up all the components. I'll just hide some of it. And as you can see, all the glazing panels are shown here. Like I've placed so many glazed panels there because some of the curtain walls are already placed. I'll just switch, I'll just hide few of the elements so that it looks clean, right? Okay.
So these schedules are real time shows, right?
Yeah, these are real time, right?
So if
So
I repeat any window in
yeah.
model,
I'll show
automatically it
one
gets
example
updated.
here. Yeah. I'll show one example here as well. So as you can notice, this is the sheet which I compose at the end, and I'm deleting all those views. I'll show you that how easy it is to compose a sheet. So I've created a ground floor view here, and I'll simply drag and drop it on the sheet. It is as simple as that, right? Okay, and I'm composing a section
We
here.
can focus
I'll show you the changes
on the
also.
form,
Yeah,
building form, and leave the drafting part to software, right?
to software. Yeah,
The
exactly,
boring
exactly.
part to software.
Yeah, you
Okay.
you have put it in the right way actually.
Yeah, but we have obviously have to model it correctly.
Yes, yes, exactly.
I mean, it's not magic.
Okay, so I'll show one change here that what we were discussing, that change management is easy in this software. So you have seen that views can be dragged and dropped simply. So I'll just put up a 3D view also. So okay, I'll just push it a bit up. And it is also showing the information here that it is composed on scale 1:100. For example, if you want to change the scale, that is also possible, and it's a real-time change. It won't affect your model. Otherwise, if you need to change in AutoCAD, you need to scale the entire drawing and need to change the components accordingly. You need to change adjust the hatches as well. So in this case, it is doing it automatically. So user need to only focus on design in this case, right? So now for example, I'll change, let's say, one of the walls. Let's pick up this wall on north side, right? And I'll change it to some other wall. Let's say I'll convert from brick to concrete wall here, right? So I'll take this as a concrete wall. Yeah, here I found the concrete wall, and it is now changed in the 3D view. And not only 3D view, if I go to the elevation, it is updated there automatically. I need not to update manually any drawing here. And as you can notice, these changes are updated on sheet as well, and schedules are also updated accordingly. So Revit will automatically track the changes and will update all the views, because views are interconnected here. We are not actually producing drawings here. We definitely produce drawing, but we are focusing on developing the entire entity, entire project here, right? So this is the final product. I'll just share that sheet with you. Right, so this is the final product of it. You may also give more time and can do it better. So it's a Lebeskin villa. Conceptual design sheet is done, and now I think it's time for accepting that challenge of SIRS. So I'll move to conceptual mass, right?
Yeah, everyone is kind of waiting for that.
Okay.
So let's
Okay.
see if you can make Lotus Temple.
Yeah, sure. So just a minute,
So
I'm holding this screen for a while and sharing
it's
that.
a challenge for Rhino fans also.
Okay, they won't be disappointed, sir, believe me. So, okay. So I'm sharing a slide here to just to give an overview. ऐसे तो everybody has seen Lotus Temple, I believe, right? So this is the form which we are discussing. So just a basic discussion that this form can be developed if you develop 3 petals here, right? If you manage to develop 3 components of it, like the inner petal, and that is around 34 meters of height. I just checked from Google. Then 25 meters is the second petal, and the last one is the entrance porch also. So it basically has 3 petals, and you may just keep on copying in the circular direction. So this is as simple as that. So that is the strategy I followed. So I'm just sharing my Revit screen now, and yeah. Okay. So I'm modeling the component part here, right? So this is the new template, and I'm creating a component here. I'm creating that single petal first. So I'm using the point elements. Those who are familiar with the point geometry, they may use this, and I'll just use the combination of points and spleen. So I'll put up a point here, and okay, I'll go to the plan view. I think that would be better to. We should also always work in orthogonal views, because as a designer, we actually think we need to actually stick to the plan views or section views, or yeah. Anyways, so I'll just I'll not explain it much. I'll just do the work. I'm making copies here. Yeah. Okay, so this is the inner petal. I'm following the design from one of the drawings from Google. So you may find detailed drawings of Lotus Temple there. Yeah. So this will provide the base for it. Yeah, I'll put up the points over point. Okay, so
So can we move a little fast, sure, because we are kind of running out of time, and I have a
okay,
lot of questions in the Q&A box to be answered.
okay, sir. Okay, sir. Just a minute. So finally, the form is all about to ready, and I'll just pick up these lines. Yeah. Okay, I just missed it. Okay, yeah, it is done. Okay, I'll just quickly create reference lines. Okay. यार वो बाहर नहीं है. So as you can notice here, I've just quickly placed some points, convert those points into lines, and lines are converted into shapes. And shapes can be controlled by thicknesses, or you may just create 2-dimensional shapes. I'll prefer creating 2-dimensional shapes so that my file would be, yeah. Okay, so now I'll add few parameters here. So another session is about adding parameters. to control the geometry. So this is another beauty of Revit, that we can also control the parameters. And so I'll add parameter. I'll just quickly show one parameter to you. That is the height parameter. So those who are familiar about the parameters may put up some parameters here. So as you can notice, I'm just quickly changing the parameter, and I'm putting the height parameter in this case. And as you can notice, it is done. Now let's check the parameter, right? So I'll try and changing the shape, so that I can achieve different heights of the petal from the single component, right? So okay, so now changing the shapes by using the parameters, I'll check it. So now I'll quickly check the parameters from the list of the parameters. And height, I'll try and change. Let's say I'll change it to 25 meters. That is the second petal, right? So we need not to actually create multiple files or multiple shapes in this case, because Revit is smart enough to control geometry via values. We call them parameters, right? So this is one parameter. I'll show you another parameter also. And that is okay. So now let's quickly move this mass to the component file. So I've created parameters and created types here. So those who are working in Revit, like in our case, 61% people are working in Revit. So I'm now created few types here, like intermediate petal, and then like I was discussing my strategy, and this is the outermost petal. So 3 petals are created just by the same component, right? And I'll just load this into the project. So for that, I'll open a new project. Okay, I'll keep it as default at inner petal, right? I'll apply this. Okay, and I'll get to load it into the project, and I have already opened a project here, and I'm simply loading it. And once loaded, I'll just place the component here, and I'll just use the array tool. So most of you are either Revit or CAD users, so you have already familiar with the array tool. So I'll just use radial array in this case, right? So I'll use the radial array. I'll just reposition it, and I'll use the radial array. Number of components I've just counted in the image of Lotus Temple, that is 9. So I'll just start with the 3 and move it to 360-degree, and yeah, last component. And now I'll change the numbers, and you can change it later as well. Like it is now having 9 components. So I'll show you the 3D of it as well. So it is now updated in 3D. So mostly we work in 2D in Revit, so that we have a better idea of our design. And yeah, 9 components. Sorry, it was 8 earlier. Okay, and then I'll get to 3D. Okay, I'll show you the 3D. So this is how it is now created. So now further, I just placed other components, and this is what got it here. Just a minute. Yeah, this is what I got here, right? As you can notice, this is just an array of multiple components, right? So it is as simple as that. So you need to create one component, and by adding the parameters, you can control its height and width, and you may create copies of it, and you will get this product. And then you may further add some material or something. And as you can now see, it has taken hardly, I think, 10 minutes or 15 minutes, right? And so the challenge which sir has provided has accepted. The plan view is ready, the 3D view is ready, and this is only and the modeling part is only this petal. So I've created only the petal here, and rest is copying and pasting here. So in Revit, you can work smartly rather than work hard here, right? So, and by adding further components of site, this is the final product of it, right? So
So this is okay. So you have completed that modeling
yes, sir.
Revit. So okay. Obviously, further detailing is required,
Yeah,
but at least we
obviously.
got
So
the basic
given the
form
time,
quickly,
yeah.
and I hope the participants are satisfied with the modeling in
Yeah, I just
Revit.
wanted to prove okay, it is doable in Revit. Any complex to
Hmm.
form such as Lotus Temple as well. Yes, sir.
Right, right.
So from this image, I've taken the reference, and to the Revit conceptual mass, I've created this. This is the output from the Revit. So this is the conceptual mass, and that is the image. You may compare it here, and you may also add further details. So for detailed development, you use Revit, and for basic conceptual massing, you may use Formint. And over to you, sir, if you want to
Yeah,
add. Yeah.
thank you,
Yes.
sure. So good thing is actually we have to focus on the form or design, and automatically I can get plan section elevations out of it, Revit. So we don't have to do the tedious task, right? We can
Yes, sir.
focus on design. So we can move forward to the question answer session.
Yeah, sure.
Before that, I want to mention one thing, like Amit sir also mentioned that think in 3D, design in 3D, and construct in 3D. So what was happening? The idea is that we obviously when we think of the concept, and architects have they have good visualization power. So we visualize in 3D, but unfortunately we work in 2D. We work in AutoCAD. You know, from
Yes, sir.
3D to 2D, and then we have to construct a building in 3D, obviously. So we are moving from 3D to 2D to 3D. Whereas we believe, or BIM believes that, and if you're working on Revit, we should think the concept in 3D,
Yes,
work
sir.
it out on Formit or even Revit directly, as Shoaib also showed that, a building as complex as Lotus Temple is easily you can model on Revit. So we should, when we are producing the working drawings, we should not be working in 2D drawing. We should be working on our building, and automatically the drawings should be produced. So we think in 3D, we work in 3D, we design in 3D basically, and obviously we construct in 3D. That is like obvious. So that is kind of a paradigm shift which is happening, which is from 2D to 3D workflow basically, or you can call as transforming the design workflow. So that was about the design workflow. So let us move on to question answer session, Abhishek then.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
So sure, you can stop sharing your screen.
Thank you, Shoaib.
Okay, sir. Yeah, thank you, Abhishek. Uh, okay.
Yeah, so I'll just share the PPT once again, and we'll be heading towards the question answer session then.
So,
So,
oh, sorry, Abhishek, yeah, continue.
yes, sir. So please type in the question in the Q&A box, in the chat box.
So I already have a lot of questions here. If you have additional questions, you can write us at connect@capricorn.com. Because we have less time, so we'll just pick a few questions, and the rest of the questions they are going to answer back in the email. We have all your information with us. So let us take the first question from Mr. Janardhan Saha. What is the difference between Formit and Revit in terms of commercial use point of view? So commercially, I mean, there is Formit comes literally free with Autodesk collection. With when you buy Revit, you automatically get Formit also in AEC collection. So it's literally free, basically. And second question is from Ms. Gunveen Kaur. How different is it to modeling in the SketchUp other than slightly different interface? The modeling looks pretty similar to SketchUp. Yes, Gurveen, modeling is pretty similar to SketchUp, but what is the major advantage is that if we model in Formit, we can take directly into Revit and start working on it and start developing it further. Plus, Format is much more stable than SketchUp. I still, when I work on SketchUp, or I used to work on SketchUp, when I used to zoom in, it's kind of become unstable. Especially if you're working on interior projects, then file becomes heavy. So zoom in, zoom out is very becomes a little difficult in SketchUp. That stability, which was missing in SketchUp, is there in Format. So it's a little more stable software. Plus, we can further develop it directly in Revit as shown by Shoaib. And then we have question from Anuradha TK. Can we insert SketchUp file in Formit? Yes, we can directly open up a SketchUp file in Formit. So even if you have worked on SketchUp, you can open up in Formit, save as in Formit format, and then put it in Revit. So even if you're working on a project and working on SketchUp, and you want to switch to this workflow from Formit to Revit, you can do that easily. You don't even need SketchUp to convert to Formit. You can directly open up a SketchUp file in Formit. And then I'll just take one more question from Hemant Sethi. Is there any back and forth compatibility between Formit and Revit? For example, if the concept needs to be changed after it has been developed a bit on Revit. So a back and forth capability, so obviously one way capability is already there. If you want to take back from Revit to Formit, you can take back the families basically. You can work on the Revit families in Formit, make changes, bring it back, but not the complete model. Yeah, it's according to the architect's workflow. You know, you are working on the concept. Once the stage is done, then you start working on the design. And if there are minor changes, then you can do it in Revit, as shown by Shoaib also. If like we can make complex buildings, so we can definitely do small changes in our concept design directly in Revit only. So I have a lot of questions coming up, but as we are out of time, already it's 2 hours. So we'll reply back the questions via email. And if you have extra questions, you can write back to us at connect@capricorn.com. And now I would like to invite our Senior Vice President, Mr. Amit Jain, sir, to uh, give a vote of thanks to all our participants. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Farad. Thank you, all the friends on this workshop today, and thank you, all my colleagues. So I think, or I hope, this is the first interface, or first maybe most of you might have seen or heard about Formit first time. So the idea of Formit is, the better integration, with Revit. So as Faraz said earlier rightly, like, we think in 3D, we design in 3D, and then maybe we will construct in 3D. So it's start to finish, the way technology is changing, the landscape of technology is changing. And during last 10 months of this pandemic time, more and more, we as an individuals, organization, are adopting technology for our work, for our personal work, for our professional work. So this is the first serious attempt by us to integrate Formit with Revit. And I'm sure all of you might be having many questions regarding that. So you may reach out to any one of your team member anytime. And I would request all the uh, participants of this workshop today, please spread the word of this competition, because this competition is for a novel cause. And we wish if more and more students of architecture, graduate students, or maybe postgraduate students of architecture, or related design, participate in this. So this event will be active for next couple of months, and during the course of this event, or architectural event, there'll be a lot of activities which will be conducted by Capricorn team members, and we'll be involving many Indian and international famed architects, and maybe subject matter experts. So in line of that, there's a next lecture is scheduled to happen on 29, correct, Farad?
Yes, sir. 29
So
January.
29 January, so this is a lecture given by one eminent architect, or you might be seeing his profile. So all of you will get the invite for that. Maybe you can share with your colleagues, friends, or anyone related in the industry. So idea is to share the best practices, how technology can be used for our better design, you know, time, cost, and quality. So thank you very much for attending today's workshop. And last but not the least, we would be our team would be seeking feedback and any suggestion for any maybe improvement and maybe to incorporate anything you wish. So please share your feedback through any media. Thank you very much once again. Uh, all the best. Wish you good luck.
Thank you, sir. So, thank you everyone for joining. Let's catch up on next Friday, 29th of January at 3 p.m. So please do not forget to register. Okay. Okay. Thank you everyone. Then bye. And